everyone, it is Jasmine here today, and last weekend I went to Fan Expo Chicago, and we're going to talk all about that and show you footage from panels and my photo ops, and I do have quite a few complaints, which will be at the end of the video, just things that they really should have done differently, in my opinion. And first thing we're going to get out of the way, my ring light that I normally use has a short in it. Yeah, you see that? It just totally changed color. Oh, are we back? Okay, we're back. It's got a short, so if color changes, that is why. Just letting you know. The ring light is 07. Goodbye, ring light. It was nice knowing ya. I've had it for years. Got it from Five Below. I'm surprised it lasted this long, to be honest with you. But yeah, we are going to get into it. So on Friday, I got to go to one of my favorite record stores, which was Rolling Stones Records. Molly Ringwald shopped there once, and I found that out after I went there last year. But I had to go back. It's always such a fun time going there. They have so many records. They have cassette tapes, CDs, and they have CDs on the ceiling and hanging from the ceiling and promo stuff everywhere. It's such a beautiful place. If you ever have a chance to go there, just go there. It's great. Trust me, you're gonna love it. So the convention started on Friday and started a little later. I got there at 7, and the first thing I like to do when I go into conventions is figuring out where everyone is signing that I'm getting autographs from that weekend. So obviously had to look for Lucas and Corbin from High Schol Musical, and then obviously Skeet and Matthew and Cole. Thankfully, Skeet, Matthew, and Cole were all next to each other. So we go back there and see that Matthew's line is already just cut off. Like, they've started doing return times. I don't remember if on this day it was with tickets or not, but that was something that I was not expecting. So obviously then I knew the next day, have to get up early and get down there super early. But on Friday, I didn't meet anyone, but I did buy something. So on Friday, I found these. We have the Hardy Boys right here with Nancy Drew. This is from season 2 because it's a different Nancy. And the Brady Bunch, which was a Tiger Beat Presents book. Now, I go to buy these, right? So I go to one guy who's working the booth, and he looks at them, and he looks at me, and he calls over another guy. And I'm like, oh no, why are we turning? I know what's going on. I know they're turning this now into some sort of weird spectacle. So he calls another guy who's like, huh? And then calls another guy. Why does everyone at this booth need to see that I just want to buy 2 books? Okay, I know it's the first day of the con. Maybe you thought these weren't gonna sell and you're confused. And so now I'm over here being like, but Sean Cassidy, I like Sean. I met his mom once. She's in the Partridge Family, and the guy looking at the books goes, you know, this is the Brady Bunch. Yes, I know it's the Brady Bunch. I also like the Brady Bunch, but you're having me confused why all of you are watching me buy this, and it's making this situation very uncomfortable for me, and I don't like it, and I wish to leave now. So I paid for the books, and I was like, okay. I was like, that's great. But I've been looking for this one. So I had to get it. They had it. But it was very uncomfortable. Just don't do that. Maybe don't do that. That was not cool at all. I didn't like that. That social situation, I was not made for that. What, like 3 grown men looking at you just trying to buy I don't, no, please. Like, I don't want to. It was awkward. I didn't like it. Not a good interaction. Nope. 1 out of 10. Not good. Not a good situation. Maybe let's not do that. So on Friday night, we got the pleasure of seeing Twihard the Musical, where Edward was a puppet. Now, he's not normally a puppet, but because their Edward got the Rona, he was a puppet for this. So, yeah, I'm going to play you some of that footage right now. So that is a little bit of Twihard the Musical. If you get the chance to see it, go see it. I haven't had the chance of seeing it fully yet, but apparently people are dressed as baseballs and cars, and there's a drag-off between Carlisle and Charlie Swan. I want to see it. I wanted to go as soon as they said that. I was like, sign me up. Where do I go to see this? I want to see this right now. So if that sounds interesting to you, they are linked down below. Go check them out. It seems like a really, really, really fun time. So that was Friday. On Saturday, I had a lot to do, so went down there early and got to get right into Matthew's line, and it was cut off right after that, where they started handing out tickets for comeback time. Oh gosh, I have a lot to say about this situation later, so we're gonna circle back to this later. So I got to meet Matthew with my sister. She got an autograph from him, and she had told him that he was her favorite, and my mom and I, we have Billy shirts on from Scream, so he flips us off while he's hugging her, and I'm like, excuse me. I'm like, rude. I was like, I like Scooby-Doo, and he's like, yeah, but I had a Billy shirt on, and I was like, yeah, but I know, okay, that Davy Jones and Austin Roberts did music for Scooby-Doo, okay? And he's like, that's a deep cut. And I was like, yeah. So I know things. Sure, they're 70s people, but I know things. Which, I mean, I did get a hug from him, which was nice. And, I mean, if I had to be flipped off by anyone, I'm glad it was Matthew. It was an honor. It was an honor. Thank you. It was an honor. Made my day. Thank you. You know, it was an honor. But it was funny. He was so good and so nice. He was walking into the crowd when it was my sister's turn to get an autograph. He went out into the crowd and gave everyone high fives, which was really sweet of him because his line was super long and people were waiting forever. So I just really liked that he did those little side quests. It was great and very nice of him. So after that, I go to meet Skeet, and I got an autograph from him. Now, this is the only autograph I got all weekend, but he said he liked my shirt. Obviously, it had Billy on it. And then he gave me a hug, so I didn't have to ask for one, which was great, because I was really worried. Because, sometimes we ask for hugs, they're like, no, which is fine. But I was like, I'll just ask. But he gave me one, so I was like, yes, I don't have to ask. So we got to talk about Riverdale. I got to talk about, obviously, Scream. And he's so lovely. He is just so lovely. And this is the photo I chose to get signed. Look at that, a little heart. How cute. Look at, oh, yes, I love this. Guys, I don't think you understand. Scream has, quickly become one of my favorite, I guess, horror movies, if you could even call it that, since I started watching them last year. Because my sister's like, Jasmine, you just need to see some of these. So we've been watching, so many, and I'm so excited to do that again this year in, September, October. It's good. I like it. And as a girly who doesn't like scary movies, I like that. So then we got to go meet Cole, and I met his brother before at PAX East in 2015, I think. It was such a long time ago. I'll pop up the photo here and you'll see it's a very long time ago that I met his brother. So my sister and I got to talk to him about that. We're like, hey, so we met your brother before at a gaming convention of all things. And he's like, which one? And we're like, oh, he went to East. And he's like, oh, I went to West. He's like, have to be on opposite sides of the coast. It's a twin thing or something. He said something like that. And so then we started, he was like, I told Dylan you should do more cons. And we're like, yeah, he was also in Indy, which we're from Indiana. And he didn't tell anyone. He's like, oh, how dare he? So we started just making fun of Dylan, lighthearted jokes, making fun of Dylan. It was great. And Cole is so fun, just so full of energy. And he's great to meet. If you ever had a chance to meet him, definitely do. He's fantastic and loved to take so many photos. He was very nice and just very sweet. So I have a photo with him here, which is so cool and so nice of him. Our photo op that we had with Skeet and Matthew, which is right here. They were so cool. I didn't get to use, I made these little ghost face. This one's mine. where it's a groovy ghost face mask. This was supposed to be dark purple, but it didn't show up in the printer, so I had to make it red. But then it creates a shadow on your face, so it wouldn't have worked, so couldn't use those. So that's why we then ended up doing the hearts here, and I got a side hug from Skeet before we left the photo op, and I was like, oh, thank you, so nice. I do have problems with the photo op. We'll talk about later. We had the Cole Sprouse panel, which the one thing that I did not film, and I wish I did, was someone asked about the Danimals sweepstakes that they used to have, the Danimals contest. And he said that there was a reason why no one knows that story. And he said that it involved a skateboard, a birthday party, and a dead deer. And I was like, what? What do you... a dead deer? What? Very, very confused. And was like, okay. Now, I don't know if he's allowed to tell the story or not off stage, because I kind of wanted to go back and ask him about it, so that way I could have, like, you know, the inside scoop and we could all discuss it. But then I was also like, even if he told me about it, I don't think I would want to discuss it on the internet, because it sounds like it's going to be very gross. And I wouldn't do that to you guys if it was really gross. There's a reason why he definitely hasn't talked about it. And I assume it's just very bad. And so here is some parts of the panel.
Hi everyone, how are you? Oh nice, I get to stare at a giant photo of my face. Perfect, I'll just look at him the whole time.
Do you remember when you took that picture?
No, I don't remember breakfast, to be honest. It's been a very long day. How are you guys doing? Are you keeping hydrated?
Yes!
Are you brushing your teeth and flossing every night?
Yes!
Every night?
Every single night?
Every night?
I don't honestly floss.
So that's what I'm saying, every night? I really only floss before I'm going to see people.
I floss if I feel like a kernel of corn
That
stuck
too.
in my teeth.
Yeah. A little something, a little snack for later.
I'm not recommending you guys take this approach at all. I think, in fact, you probably should floss every day. But enough about flossing. Completely different set than post-tippy.
Something we're all going to be watching more now.
The post-tippy sweet life, like, we all changed. Also, he had a handler that we just called Bucket Bob. I can imagine why we called him Bucket Bob. But when Tippy would start to piss, Bucket Bob, who was always way too far away, would come in running full sprint, 60-plus-year-old guy. Running full sprint with a bucket that was aluminum. So when Tippy pissed in the bucket, it was like a bell was going off. And it was absurd that all of it happened. We learned our lesson. We definitely learned our lesson. Yeah. Tippy changed us.
Sounds like it changed everyone.
Yes. So that episode really sticks out.
That's more memory, I'm sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that was the Cole panel. So on Sunday, I got to meet Corbin Bleu and Lucas Grabeel from High Schol Musical, dressed as Sharpay from High Schol Musical 2. And now the first one that we met was Corbin, and I got to talk to him about Flight 29 Down, one of my favorite shows as a kid. And I got to tell him how I would go to school and try to talk to people about it, and no one knew what I was talking about. Same with Brace Face, those two shows I really liked. No one knew. And he's like, yeah, not a lot of people, like, know about that show. I was like, it was a good show. It was, like, the best way I can describe it, I haven't seen it in a while, would be, like, Lost, but teenagers. Which would make sense for the time, because I believe Lost was on, and it was very popular. I didn't watch it. Still haven't watched it. But, yeah, we got to talk about that, and then, obviously, High Schol Musical, and he was so excited to talk about High Schol Musical, which was great, because, you know, I know it's, like, obviously one of those roles that they're always going to be known for, so I would expect them to be kind of like maybe tired and over it, but he loved talking about it. Lucas also loved talking about it. And Lucas was great too, meeting him at Sharpay, and we got to talk about High School Musical too, and how it was like the best one. I mean, it had good music, and it took place at Lava Springs. Lots of Sharpay and Ryan in that one. I really liked that one. Here's our photo together, and he was so sweet and so kind, and he has a new song out too right now that I will link down below and link right there. So definitely check that out. And now, time for the Scream panel. The Scream panel, I did not expect Matthew and Skeet to just walk in the crowd during the Scream panel. I was like, what? What is going on here? Okay, yeah, this is what we're doing. So anyway, I am right now going to play some of the footage from the Scream panel.
Orange.
Woo!
Oh, the lovable Randy. Let's bring out Jamie Kennedy.
Woo!
She played Debbie Salt, the legendary Lori Metcalf. Let me bring out Tatum, Rose McGowan. Himself, Lee Waddell. Let's bring him on out. So guys, take it away. I want to sit in the audience and enjoy this.
No, stay with us. Stay with us. So you guys, if you've never seen how we usually do a panel, Joe's the moderator. He's fantastic. We love Joe. But our goal, our intention when we do Q&As is to offer you the ability to ask us any question you want. It doesn't just have to be about Scream. It doesn't have to be about our careers. We can sort of open it up. If you're curious, we're here to answer for the next 45 minutes or so. It's a little different, but feel free to ask. And then Skeet's going to go in the audience, and we're going to write the audience.
Hi, everybody.
I thought it was kind of funny.
Cool. We're at an impasse in our relationship. The funny thing is that I think what's interesting about the first question is that at the end of the day, this is a privilege, not a right. This is a movie that was based on, that was being done by Wes Craven, who was, God bless his heart, who hadn't made it at that time, God bless him, hadn't made a great movie in a long time. There was two women that were on television, heaven forbid, that were then crossing over into film, Courtney Cox and F. Campbell. And it was kind of like, and back then you just didn't have that kind of crossover. So at the end of the day, I remember being in the back of a van, and the question that happens at the end of every film, like, what are you doing next? What are you doing next? What are you doing next? And I remember sitting in the very back of this van. It was like the sun was coming up, and everyone was talking about the next movies they were going to. And I was going out to do a pilot, a television pilot. I'm like, well, this movie's stupid. And I'm going to be on a TV show for the next 10 years by the people that did 30-something. And cut to this movie is still relevant. So it's not that we had no control over his destiny. None of us do. It's you guys. And for some reason, it is connected in a way that no other horror film ever has. So every single time a movie comes out and people come out to celebrate it, it is a gift. Go ahead.
So the hard choice for me was like in sometimes in production, just like in any job you've ever had, for the greater good, it's okay that not everybody loves you. It's okay that sometimes you have to stand your ground for something that you believe in. And that ultimately, in the end, getting to see all these amazing Tatum cosplayers, as I've seen through the years, those white kids were in fact very never. So it worked out. That's what I
No, I can't top that. Scream. You turn the lights down. Turn the lights down now.
We're gonna say scream. We're screaming scream, right? Scream?
No, just scream. No, just scream. All right, ready? On the count of 3, everyone scream. Oh, that's so good. Turn off these lights. We'll just be in the dark, it's so creepy. Oh shit! Hey, this is a good idea. Good job, bud, right? On the count of three, ready? 1, 2, 3! Alright, thank you everyone, thank you so much.
We're gonna have you guys exit out these doors, please. Thank you.
So after the screen panel, Rose was so sweet, and she actually came over and talked to people after the panel, which I thought was funny when I met her, because during the panel she talked about how they wanted to put Tatum originally in overalls and white Keds, and she said that Keds are white, specifically white Keds are never, and I looked down to my white Keds I had on and was like, oh no. I was like, I love Tatum, I love her outfits. What do you mean white Keds are never? I have them on, they're a staple in my 70s wardrobe. What do you mean? So obviously when I met her, she was like so sweet and so kind, and I was able to talk to her about how I really like Tatum and her outfits, and just really glad that she picked that skirt because she found it at the mall, everyone. Okay, so there has to be more of these skirts running around. I know we're all looking for the swirl skirt. She said that she found at the mall. So I'm like, where do we have dead stock of this skirt? Where is it? Where is the fabric that was used to make this skirt? Okay, we need to find it. We need to collectively as a society find this skirt. It is so cute. I want one so badly. So that was so sweet of her to talk to everyone after the panel. She didn't have to do that, and that was just so incredibly kind of her, especially since I wasn't able to meet her at all. It was so sweet that she was able to do that, and I was able to meet her that way. She was great. I'd also like to mention the way Matthew talks is just so incredible. Like, he has such beautiful answers to every single question that everyone was asking, and I'm like, my gosh, you've been doing this a while. And just the way he worded stuff and would answer these questions just so beautifully. I was like, wow, he's great. He's just so good and just very, very, very professional. Very professional. So that was Fan Expo weekend. Now we're going to get into the complaining parts about it. Just the parts that, I don't want to say complaining, just the things that they really do need to fix, I think. First things first, on Friday there wasn't a bag check at all. I just kind of walked in, which was weird, because we had come in from the tunnels, which are connected to the convention center from the hotel. So we just kind of came in and just walked right in, so there was no bag check for us. But we also weren't technically supposed to be allowed in that way, because apparently Mark Hamill and Hayden Christensen all had their own floor, which I did not know about. So the tunnels were then kind of blocked off from going to the hotels, which was annoying because you couldn't get back up without showing them that you were meeting Mark Hamill or Hayden Christensen up at the top. So that's great, especially when it's raining. I would like to be able to get back to my hotel without getting soaked. On Saturday, obviously went through a bag check on Saturday because I went in the normal way. But they literally just looked at me and said, "You're good." Didn't check my bag, didn't check my tote bag, didn't check my purse. And I was like, oh, great. That's the vibe we're going for today on a Saturday, the busiest day. You're telling me that we're not doing bag check because you just want to get people in? Because, mind you, the con floor was not open when I got in. They were putting everyone away because everyone got there early to meet Matthew and to meet Skeet and to meet the guy from Baldur's Gate and to meet, I'm forgetting the name of the person who plays Ahsoka in Marvel. I'm blanking on your name. I'm so sorry. I know it's not Ashley. It's the actual, not Ashley who voice acts Ahsoka. It's the other person. I'm blanking and I'm sorry. But because of that, they were letting people in early. So they had us line up in the area where the panel rooms are. And no one was watching the line. So when we eventually got let in, people were just now getting in and swooping in with us in there, which isn't fair to the people who had been waiting there since very early in the morning to get to Matthew's line and to get there. Thankfully, I kind of had to run. I was a runner. I was a track star, guys, to get to Matthew's line so that way we can meet him first, because we knew that was where we're going to be spending the majority of our time on Saturday. So thankfully, we got there really quickly. Now, another problem is that the con floor, the aisles were too small. It was hard to get a stroller down there because my sister and I were with a friend who has a kid, and the stroller could hardly get down there. So obviously wheelchairs are not going to be able to get down there if a stroller cannot get down there. Just the accessibility, like, you can make it bigger. So that was another issue. And then Matthew's line obviously was cut off very early. They started handing out tickets and people were hanging around the area even though they didn't need to. And it was like, please just go. Your return time, they say to check back every half hour. Trust them when they say to check back every half hour. It's going to take a while because Matthew does take his time with everyone. He's very personable and talking, and just, so obviously they know. Also, they did this Friday, so I would hope they would know about how long you need to come back and check for on Saturday. So that was an issue. And then there was the photo op issue that I had, which is now I like to get down to photo ops about 10 minutes before my time because I don't want to crowd the area and be a nuisance. And I got down there, I couldn't even get near the photo ops. There was a giant crowd past the photo ops. And so I was able to thankfully like weave in to check the board, and it said that we would be lining up in a minute. So I was like, okay. And then it said a few seconds, and I was like, okay. And then it said now. So I go over to where they're lining up, to where they should be lining up, waiting for them to announce, because normally they announce like, hey, this is the group that's lining up now. And like, you know, just we're waiting there, and like 3 minutes go by, and I see this person in front of us also has a photo op for the same time, same group as us. So I was like, oh, okay. Just kind of noting like, okay, so they haven't called us yet. So that person goes up and asks about it and gets put into line. A line that's already there. And I was like, when did you call this group? It's like odd. So then after that person gets put in line, they're like, oh, if anyone else is doing this photo op right now, come line up. That's not very helpful. You didn't say a group number. You just said if anyone else is doing this. That's helpful. Thanks, I guess. I was like, okay. So we get put in this really long line, and eventually they move us to a proper line. And the next time I hear them talk about it is about, I want to say 2 minutes before we get into our photo op. They're like, oh yeah, last call for, you never even mentioned our group in the first place, and now you're doing last call. And of course they say last call, and then a whole bunch of people show up again and like fill up kind of another line. And I'm like, how? I don't understand the organization levels, how they are so bad this year. Last year they had the Back to the Future cast, and I didn't have any problems with organization last year. You know, I also took my photos in a room with the Back to the Future cast, not out at the photo op area. So I was just confused why they didn't do that, or at least for their super popular people that they know have a lot of photo ops for, why they didn't put them maybe in a separate room. Or, you know, they're outgrowing the venue that they're at. It's one of those two. Either I believe they had too many big names this year to where they outgrew the venue, because it was so crowded back in the autograph area. It was so crowded. And the photo ops were also so very crowded. So I was like, why didn't you move these super popular people just to their own rooms? I know all the rooms are being used, which is a problem. But I was like, you just maybe put them all up with Mark Hamill and Hayden Christensen. Be like, okay, Matthew Lillard, you have a giant line. It's kind of causing a problem. You're going up. The person who plays Ahsoka, you have a huge line. You're going up. Guy from Baldur's Gate, you have a very, very, very big line. You're also going up. Sorry, we're moving everyone. And just let everyone know that people were moved, because they also weren't letting people know when lines were cut off. And I was like, you have an app. Send out push notifications. That would have made things so much easier. People who have the app would then get the push notifications, maybe tweet about it. I know I had a problem with reception, but I was still able to get like Twitter notifications. So maybe send out tweets. Do something to help these poor people, like these volunteers in these shirts. They're having to deal with massive crowds and trying to make sure everyone knows what's going on. And then people get their ticket and then they stay when you're supposed to get your ticket and leave. And it's like you have one person working like the Matthew line, maybe have 2 or 3. it was just so crazy and so hectic, and I felt so bad for the people working. I was like, I'm so sorry. So the Scream line, when I was waiting for the Scream panel, was a problem because the line was about this big. Okay, about this big. And that's important to know, okay? That the line was like that big. So I am just standing in line, and this person who's in line next to me, their backpack is on my foot. Again, important to know for the story. So this lady in front of me, her group is just 2 ladies and a child. The lady takes the child to go change them out of their Star Wars outfit. So the other lady who is there now is talking to the person next to us about Star Wars. So like she moves up a little bit. So she's talking to that person about Star Wars. The other lady and the kid come back, and I hear her, okay? Now, this is the problem. We're all very close together. I can hear you. She said, oh, sorry, this space got smaller. The person behind you is taking up a lot of space. I'm sorry? Me? I'm taking up a lot of space? And I haven't moved. I have a stranger's backpack on my foot, and I'm too afraid to tell them to pick it up, to move the backpack. Okay? That's who you're talking to right now. A person who couldn't deal with the 3 men staring at her while she's trying to buy Hardy Boy's book. Okay? Do you think I'm going to tell this other person whose backpack is on my foot? It's it's like a lounge fly type backpack. So it's not heavy. But it's like, do you think I'm gonna tell them to, like, I haven't moved. Okay, I still have the backpack on my foot. So I haven't moved. I was like, you're the one who moved towards me. Because you were talking to that person about Star Wars. So what do you mean I'm taking up a lot of space? I don't understand. Like, yeah, it was me. And then the backpack was on my foot. Then, our friend's stroller. And then, our friend and my sister and my mom were also all that way. So I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I can hear you. Okay, and instead of complaining about me taking up a lot of space, why don't we complain that the, lines are super small? Like, why are you getting mad at me? Maybe get mad at the convention for making the lines this small. They should not be this small. So I was like, okay, I can hear you. And then while we were waiting for the Scream line, someone was trying to cut in. So there was lots of yelling in the back, and then people were afraid stuff was going to start going down. That it was going to become a dangerous situation because we all knew they were not checking bags. So everyone was literally afraid that it was going to be a very dangerous situation. Which is bad when people are like, oh, I thought things were going to go down. And you're like, oh, you thought it was going to turn into a dangerous situation. Yeah, because no one's checking bags. So that was that. And yeah, those are my complaints about it. I do think that they had too many super popular people, and they were not allowed, they weren't able to fit all of them at this convention. And it did seem like they tried to pack more in to this convention than previous year. So, Fan Expo, please, just at least better security and bigger aisles. Okay, if you block off the escalator and I can't get to the tunnels to go to my hotel, that I am okay with that. Okay, that is fine. But better security and bigger aisles. Okay, the photo op thing is just, again, an organization problem. But security and aisles. That is all. That is even what I put in when they asked for feedback. I was like, just better security and bigger aisles. That is what we need. And more people watching lines, because cutting in line is a big issue and not fair to people who have been waiting there since like 5 a.m. I don't know if they had been. But if people had been waiting there since like 6 in the morning and somebody who got here at 10 is just strolling in with people who got there at 6 in the morning, that's not fair. Like, it's just not. So, and also, let's not be rude to each other too. Maybe y'all be a little nicer and be like, hey, maybe this line in this aisle is really small because the convention did it that way. I didn't do it. I didn't make I didn't say, hey, you know, about a 1.5 foot long seems about long enough. I didn't do that. Okay, that had nothing to do with me. So yeah, that was my Fan Expo experience. I did have a nice time meeting the celebrities though and going to panels. It was a great time. So yeah, if you like this video, leave a like down below. If you want to see last week's video about Stranger Things season 5 filming, that will be right there. And if you would also like to see last year's Fan Expo video, that will be right there where I met the Back to the Future cast. And if you want to see any Stranger Things video I have ever done, that will be right there as well. And also any other vlogs that I have done, those will be right there too. Woohoo! Also, next video is going to be about the Stranger Things Bath & Body Works collection. I spent way too much money on that. I didn't even get everything. Okay, that was not the goal. The goal was not to get everything. It was to get the cool stuff. So if you wanted to know what the candle holders look like and what the wallflower plug-in looks like, I got you. I'm your girl for that. So yeah, I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye! Also, I feel like I don't complain about stuff too much. Like, the only time I complain about things and I get mad at conventions is if you're not doing what you should be doing. Nothing will ever be as bad as D23 though. So Fan Expo, don't worry about that. You're not on D23's level. I don't think anyone could ever be as bad as D23 was. Because that sucked.